Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning, facilities see increase in flu-like symptoms, one inmate death being investigated. An unknown bug is afflicting the island's two largest prisons, triggering a wave of concern among staff and inmates. The news understands that the Tower Street Adult Correctional Center in downtown Kingston and the St. Catherine Adult Correctional Center in Spanish Town have seen an increase in medical emergencies over the past 72 hours. Yesterday, the Department of Correctional Services confirmed that an increase in flu-like symptoms among inmates at the St. Catherine facility prompted immediate restrictions. Interim measures were immediately taken to isolate affected inmates, restrict movements, and mandate the wearing of masks. The medical team is having the necessary tests done to inform the diagnosis, the DCS said. While an inmate died at the St. Catherine-based prison on Tuesday, the cause has not yet been determined. The death is being probed by the Independent Commission of Investigations. Regrettably, one inmate was pronounced dead at the Spanish Town Hospital at approximately 6:45 a.m. on Tuesday. No connection can be made at this time with the increase in flu symptoms at the facility, the DCS said. Sources close to the situation have described the disturbing symptoms among several inmates, including fainting, vomiting, and the signs of severe discomfort. Additionally, prison visits have reportedly been temporarily suspended. The worst case of flu-like sickness I've seen take the prison, a source told the news. Some are just recovering and others are coming down with the illness. Nobody is certain what it is. I believe the DCS were overwhelmed and wanted it to just pass naturally. The DCS emphasized that it is following all relevant medical protocols to ensure the safety and the care of both the staff and inmates at its facilities. On Tuesday, the Ministry of Health and Wellness indicated that influenza vaccines are now available free of cost to specific members of the public at health centers across the island. The vaccine is being offered to high-priority groups, including health care workers, children and the elderly with chronic illnesses, pregnant women, individuals who are institutionalized or in state care, and non-health frontline workers. It noted that the flu is highly contagious and its symptoms could include fever or chills, sore throat, muscle aches, fatigue, cough, headache, and a runny or stuffy nose. Children and the elderly are at high risk, and the flu is to be taken seriously as it can lead to pneumonia and blood infections and cause diarrhea and seizures in children. The flu can also worsen chronic medical conditions such as heart or lung disease, warned the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Jacqueline Besseser-McKenzie. The ministry said that influenza activity in Jamaica often begins to increase in October to November, peaking between December to March, and can last as late as May. Illegal firearm found covered under rubbish in Kingston. An illegal firearm was found in a pile of rubbish on Greenwich Park Road in Kingston 5 on Monday. The weapon, a black 9mm pistol, was found by police during a snap raid at the premises in the community, authorities said. No one was arrested in connection with the seizure. Reports were that between 11 a.m. and 12:30 p.m., members of the Kingston Western Proactive Intelligence Unit and the Divisional Intelligence Unit conducted a raid in the community. The operation, the news understands, was reportedly based on intelligence the police received. During the raid, the police found the weapon covered with garbage under an old washing sink. It had a magazine containing 3 9mm cartridges. The weapon and ammunition were seized and taken to the Darling Street police station. Judge refers neighbors to restorative justice in dispute over clothesline. 2 neighbors facing unlawful wounding charges over a dispute involving a clothesline were referred to restorative justice when they appeared before the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court on Tuesday. LaDonna Braham told the Senior Parish Judge Sanche Burrell that her neighbor, Marlon James, at the time had occupied a clothesline that belonged to her. When she requested the space, James reportedly questioned what he was supposed to do with his clothes. The disagreement escalated into a physical altercation, during which James is accused of punching Braham. Noting that James was dressed in a Jamaica Fire Brigade branded shirt, Judge Burrell quipped, "So you really don't know how to put out fires?" James clarified that he works in procurement at the JFB. Judge Burrell responded, "Imagine you go to prison because you punch a woman over a clothesline." Both parties were referred to restorative justice. They are to return to court on January 16, 2025. Transport Authority sets new rules for seizure of motor vehicles by its inspectors. The Transport Authority on Tuesday announced the new procedures for the seizure of motor vehicles in accordance with Section 13(2)(a) of the Transport Authority Act 1987. It said a Transport Authority inspector or a constable shall have power to seize any vehicle which is licensed as a stage carriage, express carriage, or route taxi and is not being operated on the route for which it is licensed to operate, is licensed as a hackney carriage and is being operated as a stage carriage, route taxi, or express carriage, is licensed as a contractor carriage and is being operated as a stage carriage or route taxi, or is licensed as an express carriage and is being operated as a stage carriage or route taxi, or is being operated or used as a public passenger vehicle without a license issued for such operation or use. Transport Authority Managing Director Ralston Smith said that while seizures are prescribed for the various offenses listed above, he has encouraged his inspectors to be diligent, judicious, and prudent in the exercise of this power. He noted that in some instances, based on the circumstances, it is best advised to proceed by way of summons or ticket. He also urged inspectors that where a decision is made for seizure, the exposure of persons, property, and businesses to serious harm or loss must be carefully considered. As such, he said, in order to further strengthen the system of accountability and ensure integrity of the process, the authorization for seizure of vehicles will start at the level of the area supervisor with immediate effect. Consideration must be given when children and babies are being transported in motor vehicles operating without the required license, without adequate provision for alternate transportation, seizure of vehicles for operating contrary to road license, for minor turn-offs, and the seizure of a vehicle that is filled with perishable goods, said Smith. Soldiers to know if they have a case to answer today. The 3 Jamaica Defense Force soldiers charged in connection with the May 2010 shooting death of businessman Keith Clark are to know this morning whether they have a case to answer. Lance Corporals Greg Tinglin and Odell Buckley, along with Private Arnold Henry, are currently standing trial for murder before Justice Dale Palmer in the Home Circuit Court. On Monday, the defense lawyers presented their no-case submissions in the absence of the jury, with the prosecution offering its responses. Justice Palmer had initially planned to deliver his ruling on the matter yesterday morning, but indicated that he required additional time, postponing the decision to today. Clark, a 64-year-old accountant, was shot multiple times inside the master bedroom of his Kirkland Close home on May 27, 2010, during a police military operation to apprehend the then fugitive drug lord Christopher Dudos Coke. Dr. Denise Rao, the former chief forensic pathologist in the legal medicine unit at the Ministry of National Security, testified during the trial that Clark sustained 25 gunshot wounds. He noted that 16 of these shots were to Clark's lower back, while the other injuries included gunshot wounds to his face, chest, and forearm. The forensic pathologist explained that Clark died from traumatic shock caused by extensive damage to his lungs, heart, intestines, and kidneys, resulting from multiple gunshots to his back. Rao also supported the account given by Clark's relatives that he was shot while climbing down from a closet with his back towards the security forces personnel who had entered his home. Clark's widow and daughter had also insisted that they were home alone with the businessman when they heard strange sounds and thought criminals were breaking into the house. However, testimony from a former government forensic analyst contradicted the family's account. The analyst stated that Clark was likely shot while inside the closet in the master bedroom rather than while descending from it. She also refuted the idea that Clark was shot at the window, as claimed by his daughter, as she found no blood splatter on the window or surrounding walls. She also could not recall seeing a curtain and whether it had blood marks, but was certain that there was no blood stains or splatter on the window. The court was told that it was likely that Clark was shot while positioned at the left side of the closet, based on the blood splatter captured in a photograph she was shown. Among the other evidence was a testimony from Brigadier Mahatma Williams, who commanded the JDF unit involved in the incident, testified that an aerial video captured during the operation showed the soldiers acting in what he believed to be good faith. Williams explained that the video depicted the soldiers coming under attack from insurgents inside the Clark residence and that they followed standard military procedures. He also stated that the JDF had relied on intelligence leading them to the premises and that the team came under fire while approaching Kirkland Close. Captain Kevin White, second in command at the Special Activities Regiment, also testified that the firearm and ammunition logbooks for May 2010 could not be found. However, White disclosed that he was able to locate dispatch books from earlier and later periods ranging from early 2004 to early 2010 and from 2016 to 2020. Meanwhile, Terrence Williams, former commissioner of the Independent Commission of Investigations, told the court that he requested the books from December 2010 and that up to the time when he was leaving office in 2020, the request was still not fulfilled. Guys, thanks for watching. Please join us this afternoon at 2 p.m. for another news update.